EmBank is a leader as a banking-as-a-service software company, so I caught up with Dave Richards to hear what they're up to and what's going on in the marketplace. So Dave, welcome.
Thank you very much, Anna.
So just give me a quick overview. What exactly is core banking?
Oh gosh, core banking is everything that a financial institution would need to service their customers or members of the bank or credit union. And there's such complexity in core banking that's been overlooked for such a long time, and that's where EmBank comes into play.
And what is the current state of the core banking industry right now?
For the camera, I'll use kind words. It's pretty jacked up. There's several players in this industry that have dominated for a long time, and they've not serviced their customers too well. And that has a trickle-down effect to the economy because they're not able to go to market with technology that's going to help them reduce expenses and increase productivity. They're stuck with legacy transactions and legacy processes that don't give them the service they want, don't give them the expertise they need because they can't attract talent because it's so old and antiquated. So it really needs a facelift, like really bad.
And would you say there's still a little bit of confusion in this space? I know the fintech industry specifically has settled a little bit. You're seeing at Money 2020, really the winners emerging, and I don't want to call them losers, but they are starting to, you're right, starting to trickle off. So would you say there's still a little bit of confusion in core banking, or have things leveled out a little bit?
Well, it's hard to say because there's different models that these core vendors are coming to the market with. Some are saying we do microservices where we're going to let the financial institution pick and choose the module they want to use and run with it, and they do everything, which works for some people, but I don't think that that's the best service model, because I want to work with the financial institution as a partner, not as a vendor. And that's really a big differentiator, because partnerships are key. If you succeed, I succeed, and we tell our prospects key metrics is just like that. When you grow, we grow. It's really easy math. It's not, you're going to pay for all this stuff and we're not going to give you good service, we're going to have you lengthy contracts, we're going to charge you gigantic installation fees and all this stuff that put you in a box, and we don't want you to be in a box. We want you to do whatever you want to do, and we want to bring in partners in the industry that are best of breed, because that's their core competency, and we have ours and they have theirs, and let's work together. But our technology is so new that we're able to do that versus taking a round peg and putting it in a square hole, and that's what the current market is like today. Round peg, square hole, and they just, no matter how hard you pound it, doesn't fit, and it creates a lot of confusion.
And it's still pretty clear that a lot of the incumbent banks are still struggling to adopt new technology. Why do you think that is still in today's age?
I think it's the management that's in place is old school. It's the good old boys, not to be gender specific, but it's a good old boy club, and nobody gets fired by choosing one of the legacy providers. They work, and that's hard to fight against when you have older CEO or older executive team and you have a younger generation coming up and say, we need all this fancy stuff. We need to be able to react quick to the market. We need to be able to accommodate requests from our customers or members, and they see it, well, it's not broke. Why do we have to fix it? Because it costs so much money. Well, it actually doesn't. You're spending so much more to keep them than you would to replace them. And it's the whole mindset to get around and embrace technology, because right now, financial institutions are being limited by their processor versus technology. They're letting the processor dictate what technology they can use versus the other way around, saying, here's all the technology, and let technology limit what you can do, not the provider.
And it seems like a lot of banks are just checking that technology box right now. It's not being true innovators in the space, but just saying, yes, we have that system, we have that technology stack, we'll be fine. But it doesn't seem like it's enough.
Right, and they use all the buzzwords, and they don't mean anything. And you ask these financial institutions when you go out to present, and they say, are you whatever the new buzzword is? And we say, well, what does that mean to you? I really don't know, but I just heard that you need to be that. I'm like, oh, geez. So it's education as well, and getting a relationship built is really where it starts, and letting them know, look, I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm in it to help you, to help your economy, to help the customers or members you serve, to help your internal customers, which are your employees. Everybody wins, and it's this big ecosystem that can work well together, and that's where I come into play.
And what trends is EmBank specifically tracking right now in the industry? What are you trying to stay on top of right now?
Everything. I mean, it's really not. It's got to be yes. Well, specific to banking, it's more of the meeting the need for the financial institutions that want to do a digital brand. They say, look, we're stuck in a 5-year, 10-year, 50-year contract with these legacy providers because they're lengthy and the early termination fees are gigantic and it doesn't make any sense. They say, we can't get out of that, but we want to do this. Can you help us? Absolutely. To stand up, ABC Bank 2.0, and let's get all the new bells and whistles, and we'll get that running well, get it all configured, get your new customers onboarded, which is the Gen X, Gen Z, Gen whatever you want to call it, and then once you get close to that termination of your current core contract, we'll just move the people over and set all the data. So now it makes it easier, less painful. Yeah, they have to run 2 systems, but it's a lot more manageable. And that's the biggest trend right now is people saying, I can't get out of my current one. I want to, believe me, I would leave tomorrow if I could, but it's cost prohibitive and it's a disruption to our institution, and we can't because we're trying to grow and our brand means so much. So we're trying to help them with that, solve that problem. Because rip and replace is hard. Nobody wants open heart surgery. And that's a big disruption to the financial institution is open heart surgery, and don't do it if you don't have to.
Sure, no, that makes sense. So what's new with EmBank then? What are you working on? You obviously help challenger banks, neobanks, legacy banks who maybe have branches. Yep. So what's new?
Me? I'm new, which is good for EmBank. Our technology is new. The innovation we're bringing is new. Our approach to the core banking is new because we're coming at it from a partnership perspective. We're not coming at it as we're providing you a service, you're going to pay us it, we're going to provide you with minimal functionality and minimal service and let you do the rest. So it's really trying to change the vision and the concept of core banking, because not make it an animosity type of relationship where it's us against them, like, my core provider's blah, blah, blah. No.
Like you said, it's your partner.
Yeah, it's a partner, and if there's a problem, let's dig in it together. And I learned a long time ago from the CEO of Scimitar, his name was Manny Purpose, he's since passed away, fantastic individual. He told me, Dave, don't chase the money. If there's a problem, understand what the problem is, understand how to fix it, and the money will come. Because the customer knows that there's a cost for your time. That's a given. You don't need to say it. When you come to the table and say, yeah, Joe, there's a problem, and it's going to be $5,000, $10,000, or in some of the legacy cores, $100,000 to fix this, who cares whose problem it was? That creates animosity. They need to get it fixed because you're disrupting their service. We're coming at a different approach. Something's not working, we're going to get in there, roll up our sleeves together, fix it, and then if there's some expense that was incurred, we'll talk about that and we'll get it fixed. But we're not leading with, well, if you don't pay us, it's going to stay broke. So really trying to change the whole dynamics of it and have it like a big family, like big party, because like I said, back in the day when I first started, it was a family environment. People would go to these core conferences, and strictly Scimitar was where I started my career, and it was a love fest. Prospects would come and go, what is going on here? Like, these people love you. And I'm like, yeah, well, why wouldn't they? Like, we're doing everything right. And now it's not like that. You hear so many bad things from people about their cores, and it's sad because you have to have it. It's an integral part. I mean, you have to have one of two things. You have to have both. You have to have customers and you have to have core banking. All the other stuff you can do without, and a lot of them are doing without because they're not able.
The rest of it comes.
Yes, the rest of it comes, or they're not able to do it because it's cost prohibitive. So it's a barrier to entry. And some of these big legacy providers purchase technology to try to bolt onto their round peg square hole thing, and that doesn't work. So you're like, I have all this great opportunity, but nothing works, and it's super expensive, and forget it. Let's just go back to papers. I was talking with a financial institution the other night, and I said, how's your lending? He goes, we do paper. I'm like, wait, what? You do what?
Whoa.
He goes, yeah, we have an application, and people fill. I said, are you kidding me? He goes, yeah, and then we key it into 12 different systems. I'm like, he goes, that's why we're talking. That exactly right there, just the very boil it down to the finest, smallest detail. It's just automation, and it's people, process, and technology. You can't do one without the other two, because any one of those fail, you all fail. So it's the biggest thing, and I'm so passionate about this, and I love talking to people, and they go, bling, the light bulb goes on, and they go, well, of course. It's like watching Shark Tank. You see someone invent something, you're like, son of a, you know what, like, of course, I do that all the time, but I just didn't know how to do this automation. So That's when we talk to people, they go, well, of course, that's the way it should work.
Yes.
Now. And wait, it's not expensive. It's not millions of dollars. I would like it to be, but it doesn't have to be. Technology has given us the ability to not charge that much.
Right.
So.
Exactly. Well, Dave, it is always a pleasure catching up with the EmBank team. Thank you so much for your insights today.
So welcome. Thank you very much.
From Medici Studio, I'm Shannon Rossick.